This is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top questions and things you struggle with most so you can have more energy and less decision fatigue about what to eat, how to move, and so you can change your thoughts to flip 50 with the life and the energy you love in this second half. While I'm recording this is our Memorial Day 3-day weekend. And for me, this has always been the start of summer. So it's that 3-day bookend, or one of them, on either end of the start and the end of summer. So I really want to launch so many of you who I know feel the same way and who, like so many of us women, are solar powered. When the sun is out, your energy is up. You feel good, and I really want to help you capitalize on that just the same way I do. So consider this your interval training sprint for 10 ways to get fit after 50 and avoid self-sabotage this summer. So while we know it's so much easier to be more active, you've got more daytime hours to do it and potentially more energy thanks to the goodness of the sun. And take that, FYI, as an indication that potentially you did need a little bit more vitamin D and didn't realize it. But it's also a time when there are more barbecues, more weddings, more showers, more graduations, more opportunities to, have a few more cocktails maybe on the deck, have another glass of wine at the sunset. All good things for wellness, but can also potentially sabotage. So we're going to address what can you do while you still enjoy those things consciously in order to avoid self-sabotage and give yourself the best opportunity for success. Here we go. Ready for the sprint. Number 1, stock up on protein and fiber. And I know this sounds probably like a shameless plug, and I suppose it is. But I don't recommend anything that I don't do myself. I don't recommend anything that hasn't been proven, both through science and through my experience in working with women, men and women, and lots of ages, but primarily women in their mid and late decades of life for the last 34 years. I've got a special listener-only protein special linked in the show notes. And the code is PROPOD, PROPOD, to use as your promo code for 10% off your first order. It's only something I'm mentioning here on the podcast. And when they're gone, they're gone. It's the first 50 users who get to take advantage. So if you're curious about what Flipping 50 products taste like, and please trust me, I'm a finicky eater too. So I want low sugar. I want no fructose, no sucrose, no sucralose, no soy, nothing that's going to make me store fat, and everything that's going to help me. But let's come back to why. The stocking up on protein and on fiber, whether you do that with my Fiber Boost product or you do that by adding flaxseed and chia seeds and avocado and tons of berries and vegetables to your smoothies and to every other meal that you're eating this summer, protein and fiber together tend to kill cravings. So if you find yourself really wanting something, really and physiologically you don't really need something, increase your protein and your fiber. I'm going to link to an episode that I just did with Dr. Gabrielle Lyons, who is all about muscle-centric longevity, because who here wants to live longer if we can't do it looking and feeling our best, right? We want to live better longer, and that's the key. Protein is going to help you do that by keeping your muscle, keeping your metabolism, which staves off fat and frailty, both. So take advantage, come to the show notes when we're done here and stock up on your fiber and protein sources for every single meal all day long. And you're going to feel better every single day. Number 2, Stock the refrigerator with fresh, ready-to-eat veggies. Now, notice I said veggies and not fruit, simply because even fruit has more sugar, even naturally occurring sugars, if we take them in too big amounts. So I hear so often from both men and women, I love fruit, I just don't get quite as many vegetables. You really need to flip that. Start eating many more vegetables and a little fruit to complement it, and you're going to be so much better off. So think about all of those summer goodies that are there in the farmer's market and get them prepared to be yummy in seconds. So when you open up the refrigerator, it's not what can I have? It's like, oh my gosh, there's so many good things in here, okay? So you can either make your own or buy your own. Just make sure you're looking at the ingredients label and there's no extras in hummus. And you can grill or stir fry those veggies as well as eating them raw in minutes. So think about asparagus spears, sliced zucchini and summer squash, fresh peppers, and all of those are yummy. So depending on who you are, what's going on with you and your health, if you have an autoimmune disorder, you may want to leave off the peppers. But there's an abundance of fresh veggies to be found at farmers markets or at your local grocers. Buy local whenever you can so it hasn't been on a truck. And there's been a really short amount of time between the time it was picked and the time you're going to eat it. Number 3, don't buy junk, right? So if you're worried about sabotaging yourself, don't buy junk, don't bring it in. I realize that if you're listening and you have teenagers or younger at home, or you have college-age kids at home, that can be a challenge. However, try to buy a place for them to store it where you don't have to see it, or consider not buying it. What's going on with them? Skin issues, energy issues, weight issues. A lot of our younger population are also dealing with a lot of the things we are because they're exposed to so many more toxins earlier in their life than we are. So help them as well. And know your triggers. If you tend to binge on baked chips, the quote unquote healthy ones, or the bean chips, I gotta tell you, that's my vice. I can't buy them. I can't bring them into the house because it's me and the dog. And I know if they disappear quickly, it's me. And inevitably, a bag of those chips doesn't last as long as it's supposed to. So know your triggers. Maybe for you it's popcorn, which turns to sugar, so it's not a good vice. Or it's the frozen coconut dessert, right? So much more healthy, but really, if you're going to eat that whole pint at once, not a great thing. Don't bring them into the house. And anything you do bring into the house, even the healthy stuff, portion it out. So you can grab a little baggie of 20 almonds instead of grabbing the jar where you might be tempted to dip in deeper and deeper. Number 4, toss what junk is already there out. And I know this one hurts because you and I were probably raised by men and women who were raised in the Depression, right? You need to clean your plate. You need to not be wasteful. And we learned that really well, too well. But here's the thing. If you're worried about the expense and the waste, think about how much more waste and expense there is to you and your body. It costs you way more if you keep that in the house where you're going to be tempted to eat it. And you have to remember, if you brought it in the house, you intended to eat it. It's there. All right, let that sink in. That was a little pregnant pause on purpose. And if you have a hard time thinking, well, maybe I should give this to somebody else, I shouldn't throw this out, somebody will eat it. Who needs it? Anybody in your life that you love probably also does not need it. And no, that doesn't mean that they won't go choose it or go get it elsewhere. But, if you make it easy to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong thing for anybody, they have to make more than one decision before they go get it. They have to go get in the car. They have to go drive. They have to go buy it. And that makes everyone stop and think about what else could I do? Does it cost more to eat it and zap you of energy than it does to discard it? Just do it. What we call a pantry raid is a key to every Flipping 50 program, the 28-day kickstart, the After 50 fitness formula course, and Fit You for those people who have over 20 pounds to lose. We set you up for success because we know it's going to be hard to make changes, period, even if you choose it. But setting yourself up for success with the right things in your pantry, in your refrigerator, easily accessible, doesn't mean you won't ever have a treat. It just means you're going to make it easy to do the right thing 90% of the time, and that's the big game changer. Number 5, get 3 to 4 meals made in advance in the freezer right now. I know it's summer. We think about freezing foods and thawing things out really in fall, winter, but really important in summer, you want to be outside playing just like a kid. And why not? But when you come in, you want to have something really, really easy to prepare and really quickly. So this month, for instance, in our Flipping 50 cafe in the membership area, every month we put new recipes in, either from a celebrity friend of mine, from a recent book they've published, or I'll put some easy things in based on what the members are currently asking and saying, this is the hardest part of making changes. So this month, we're actually putting in new grills and bowls that come together in minutes and make it really easy if you're cooking for yourself and maybe for a spouse or significant other who's not quite on the program, or maybe kids, whether really young kids, high school age kids, college age kids who might be in your house who have different preferences. It makes it easy for you to put a spread out without having to cook for them and for you and make more work. It makes it simple, and again, less resistance is the whole name of the game. So get those meals done. I love to cook once and eat many times. Grill, say, 2 pounds of chicken breast and cook ground meat, 2 pounds instead of 1 pound. So take one, use it right away, put it in the refrigerator if you've got leftovers, but take the other and freeze it and mark it for, here's what it is, here's the date. You thaw it out, then you're ready to go again in minutes. Likewise, have some things that you can put on your pantry shelf, and that leads right into number 6. You want 2 to 3 fast meals you can make that satisfy everyone in your household. Those buffet-like meals like tacos, pasta buffet, and you may not be having white pasta anymore, but you could have black bean pasta, you could have spiraled sweet potatoes, and you do want carbs. So zucchini is not going to work, right? Because yeah, it's great, but you've got to add some carbs back in there. So you're not trying to get rid of the carb as much as choose the right kind of carbs. You can choose pizzas that everybody can make their own and put their own toppings on it. Bowls or grills that I mentioned before. You want to have those freezer made ahead meals a part of it, or consider, what else would make it simple for you, like buying a roasted chicken from the store occasionally. Make things easy to do the right thing. I loved frozen shrimp, always have, but they thaw in minutes under cold running water for a cold shrimp salad, or you can throw them on the grill or stir fry them in about 5 more minutes. Pull out the beans, the pre-cooked quinoa, and combine with your made-ahead taco meat, or make an omelet occasionally. All of those things come together for a meal in about 10 minutes or less. Super simple, no thought process, you've got it. Number 7 on our list this month is tell the world you're doing something. And ideally, commit to a time frame. Tell the world you're doing something for 30 days. Tell your friends to ask you how it's going when they see you. This is one of the things that I ask all of our new program participants to post on their social media site if they're active on social media. Hey, I'm doing this new program. I'm doing this 28-day kickstart. The next time you see me, ask me how it's going. Because here's the deal. When I started training for marathons and I was working For the first two, I was working with team in training, one as a participant and the second one as a coach for them. But one of the most important things we did was send out letters. We were fundraising. But in sending those letters out, asking people to contribute to the Leukemia Society's cause, it was also telling people I'm running a marathon over and over, and there was no getting out of jail. I mean, you were not going to not follow up, right? You were absolutely going to do it. And sure, things happen, but when you tell the world, you commit out loud to them and to yourself again and again, it becomes really a piece of what you're doing, and it just is. There will be harder days and easier days, and there will be days you'll have to miss, but you are still keeping yourself on the hook, and it's an important part of follow through. Number 8 is reward yourself. Most of us are terrible, and pardon my French, we suck at following through with rewards for ourselves. So it's no wonder why we might be terrible sometimes at following through. So this is a self-worth thing. You got to deal with this. You've got to say, here's what I'm giving myself if I reach my commitment this week. And I would set some small steps. You may be committing for 30 days or 3 months, but set your reward for 7 days at a time. You need to make sure that you follow through, because if you don't, then it just keeps pushing on, and there is never that feeling of accomplishment. I did this, next week I'm on to the next thing. So put this in there, whether you're rewarding yourself with music, new music for your iPod, or maybe you need the iPod. Maybe you're rewarding yourself with a new set of DVDs to motivate your exercise even more. Maybe you're rewarding yourself with, so I'm an exercise geek, right? I enjoy that, like doing it. I don't need a lot of motivation for that, but I do like to reward myself with new kitchen tools. It doesn't even have to be a big deal, but I love to go to Crate and Barrel and look in those little bins for, the next best cheese grater, or a way to do lemon zest, in a bright colored new toy. Super fun for me to get in the kitchen and spend that time making whole food that I know is going to help my fitness pay off. So think about what your payoff and your reward is. Tons of ideas for you at flipping50.com. Number 9 is pay for it. It's just that simple. Invest with your time, your money, and your energy. I mean, you really have to invest your energy. That's an obvious. If you're going to cook better meals for yourself, if you're going to follow through with your hydration goals, if you're going to do the exercise, there's that obvious investment of energy. But you're also investing your time. So that's a no-brainer as well. It takes less time than you might think it does, but you've got to decide when you're changing clothes, when you're doing the exercise, when you're showering afterward. There's those time as well. But the one I want to call out is the elephant in the room is invest your money. All of Flipping 50 programs cost something. And legitimately, I'm sure if you're a professional woman, as 90% of my followers are, you understand that, right? This is what I do for a living. I'm not volunteering here, folks. I have kids with tuition and apartments and cars and car insurance, just like you do. I have older and aging parents who need some support. I have goals and wants of my own. I have a dog who costs me more than he should in vet bills and boarding. and I'm thankful that I can pay for those things. But investing in a goal is really important, both for you and for me. So if there's something that you want to do, investing in a registration fee, whether it's for the actual course or maybe it's for a race or an event that you want to participate in, or a trip that will require some kind of physical fitness level, is really important. When we pay for it, we will do it. We follow through. All 3 of them really are required: time, money, and energy. So find something that you're investing in. Not just something that, say you have all the equipment, you need at home and you just beat yourself up for not doing it, very likely you need to invest something else. You haven't invested your time or your energy, and you haven't invested financially. So make a way for you to do that. And last but not least is number 10, get a friend who wants to do something equally important. This could also be where you hire a coach or a trainer. But here's a better idea even than a friend. Get an acquaintance. If you're choosing to do a peer partner to keep you accountable and you will keep them accountable, you actually want someone you know but you barely know. It's a better accountability partner than someone who will love you even if you screw up and don't hold them accountable. Make sure your buddy is dependent on you as well as you on her. Join me this week for a special virtual spa day with Robin Benson, who is my friend. So that will be the second Flipping 50 podcast of the week, and I'll link to that, where Robin is explaining the short and long benefits of the vampire facial and explaining the O shot, the P shot, and other feel younger practices you don't want to miss. So if you're wondering what's a medi spa versus simply a pampering spa, Robin's going to share what it's like to walk through her Santa Fe based spa, where women from all over the country and internationally fly in to attend and spend a few days. So if you've ever wondered what's that like, and when it's a trusted doctor friend of mine, I felt like I needed to bring her on and talk about that ever popular vampire facial, and she shares a few other things that you might be interested in if your energy is in the tank and your stress level is soaring through the roof. That's your podcast. If you've got a question or a comment about any of these 10 tips that I've shared to you, 10 ways to get fit after 50 and avoid self-sabotage this summer, leave them below the show link at flipping50.com/podcast and join us on the Flipping 50 TV Facebook page to get all the juicy tips and some of the resources and special podcast listener only links that you've earned by just being a listener here. Visit today's episode at the show notes at flipping50.com/podcast. And if you enjoyed the show, please leave a rating in iTunes. It really helps. And then share this with a friend to surround yourself with a supportive community of women who are on the same journey. What are you waiting for? Start Flipping 50 today.